So I have to say everything I said again. No, I'm sorry. Setting up your meeting. Okay, should go pretty quick. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Okay, now then I have to mute this, right? Like that. Fantastic. Okay. Let's go back to what we were. This is okay. Back up here. So we're saying like this. So we said that the Mishnah says, right? There's a machlekes, and the Chachamim who the halacha is like them, right? The Raiv, the majority. The Chachamim say that shtei dayanim b'rin lahem that the two dayanim, the two chosen bearers, they go and choose the third dayan. Now the Shach brings down the Bach, okay, and the Shach basically says that this only applies in the halach over here. Meaning over here we're talking about the case of din, right? We're talking over here. It's meaning both plaintiffs come into Bezdin, and the plaintiffs say that we want. I'm sorry. There you go. There I am. Okay, and the plaintiffs say we want a din, meaning we want that this case, this problem should be settled according to halacha, clear halacha. It shouldn't be settled based on a pashara, 50-50, 30-70, however the dayan feels it should be done. But rather we feel that this should be established according to the clear-cut halacha. But let's say the plaintiffs say we want to do zabla. We like the concept of zabla, and as we said, it's in a case that either they come up amongst themselves, right? Because things get a little more complicated if there's an established bezdin there. If there's established bezdin there, and the bezdin summons them before they decide to do a pashara, so then it's there's no zabla, right? They can do pashara and bezdin, but there's no zabla. So over here we're talking about that before they're summoned to bezdin. Before they're summoned to bezdin, they decide we want to do a pashara. So then they will be involved in the process of getting the third dayan. So when it's just a din, when it's just a case of clear halacha that you want the dayan to pass according to a basic halacha, so then we're going to say that the plaintiffs, the te'anim don't really have a say in the matter, and they can't choose the third dayan. However, if it's going to be a case of zabla and of zabla when there's also pashara, okay, so then the halacha is that they are able to have a say in the matter. Now the question is, why do they have a say in the matter? What's the difference between a pashara and a din? The answer is that we learned that a pashara sometimes is enough to have even one. You don't need 3 dayanim. When you need 3 dayanim, it's if it's a regular din, regular case. It used to be once in a while they let a mumche, but then the Shulchan Aruch says we don't do that anymore. Today everything has to be done with 3 dayanim. If it's a regular case of a din, it's a din. So if it's a case of a din, you need three dayanim. So who's gonna pick the third dayan? It's out of your ballpark, right? So the dayanim don't have a say. The plaintiffs don't have a say. They have a say of just their personal judge, but they don't have a say of who the 2 judges should pick. However, when it's a case of pshar, because it is only necessary to have 2 judges according to the Rambam, and then according to most other rabbanim, they say 1 is enough. So therefore, we won't force them to do that. Okay, let's go to what we did before. Okay, so here's the Choshen Mishpat 11. Did I might have added this little piece after I sent out my Safari sheet to everybody. I might have added this little piece. It's a Choshen Mishpat Zion, but I felt it's necessary because we kind of spoke about it a little bit, and it does reference to our halacha. So I thought it might be important. Okay. Do I need to click record on the YouTube? But it does it automatically. Okay, Ateki's let's see, we got to chat 1 second. Automatically, fantastic. Thank you very much. We have our assistants and tech over here. Okay, so let's start with Choshen Mishpat Zayin Zayin, which is good to go. It was funny in the Chaimer, in the material, he was referencing to this, but I guess it was part of an old setup. I don't know how he worked it there. Anyway, like this. Okay, this is talking about who's allowed to be a judge, and we say that basically there seems to be 3 or 4 categories. There's someone that essentially he's puzzle. I mean, some people essentially are not allowed to be a judge, and in general, those are people that are not allowed for the same reason to be a witness. Okay, someone that makes most of his money through gambling, etc. Then there are people who are not allowed to be a witness or a judge because they're related to you. Okay. In general, that's, I think the lashon is echad l'shlish. So up to three generations in general, it's not going to work. And then we also and then there's also the concept of if you're too close to somebody. If you're too fond of someone, if two people are too fond of each other, so then there's going to be a problem. We feel that you won't be able to be a proper dayan because you're going to be I don't think the word is bribing, but you're going to be veering to one of the two sides, right?
Yeah, potential bias. Yeah,
potential bias. Yes, exactly. Thank you. So, what's interesting is it says over here that where is it? It says the teacher is because in Sharav Yachal Lias Dayan L'Talmidai. I don't know why it's not playing games. Okay, so 1 second. Let me turn it off. Let me turn off edit mode so I could. 1 second. I'm gonna turn off edit mode so I can highlight it so you guys can see what it is. There we go. Okay, let's see that. Yeah, there you go. Much better. Okay, fine. So it says that a teacher is allowed to be a dayan for his if he has his students coming in. We're not afraid of anything. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, so let's learn this halakha over here. A person is not allowed to judge that's to someone that is his friend, even though it's not considered his shushbinai. And if I remember correctly, shushbinai is basically, according to the Smeh, he says someone that basically accompanies the chassan for the 7 days of the Shev Brachas. And he said after the Shev Brachas, not considered shushbinai anymore. If I remember, that was a Smeh. I'll check it up soon. Yeah. Or his friend, if he has a very close friend that's like Kenefesh, like a very close friend. So then this person is not allowed to be your dayan. And as we'll see soon, the Ramar, Ishlish, he has a bunch of opinions on himself. He breaks it up to 3 opinions. So that could be why we were saying in the sheets, there are 3 different opinions. And the same thing applies. Let me just say, same thing applies if someone you hate someone, even though they're not your official enemy. You're not trying to hurt the person. But the point of it here is not whether you're trying to hurt the guy or not. The question is, will there be, as you said, a potential bias? Will there be a just case to be presented if any of the sides have any strong connections to the judge? And the best thing would be, says the Shulchan Aruch, if the dayan doesn't know any of these guys, that's the best thing. This is the best situation if the dayan does not recognize any of the plaintiffs. Fine. Let's start the Ramah. The Ramah says this. Yeah. So the Ramah wants to say, first of all, because over here they weren't considered very strong, connected, meaning it was just someone that loves someone or a hater. So if they go and they actually do this din, he says it seems like it would be a good din. I remember some people say the so he gives two opinions here. The Rosh says that if the this thing happened, then it's not a din. The Tour says it is a din. Some people say the Kolish in the He's a third opinion that if it's not a oyev yeseni mamish, meaning as we said above, then you're allowed to go. It's just midas chasidus, and therefore now this is why we brought it down. V'lachein mutali is dying kishazer bariloi echad v'zer bariloi echad, and therefore if this person is not your oyev mamish or not your yeseni mamish, we say you are allowed to do zer bariloi echad v'zer bariloi echad. You could. Meaning, if you have a good friend, not a very strong friend, but someone you know and you get along with him. I don't know, maybe a neighbor's too much. You got to figure it out. And you know he's a good dayan, so then you're allowed to go and choose this person. Because what's the idea? As we'll go to in a second. What's the idea of a zabla? What's the idea of each side choosing their side? So it's very interesting. The idea is that when you choose your dayan, I know you word it differently, but this is what it seems like. They're using the word that he will that the dayan will understand you la'ishrei. The dayan will understand you in the fullest possible manner. Meaning, a lot of times, people say he doesn't understand me, he doesn't get me. You go to the base and you don't feel you're expressing yourself properly. The idea of Zabbalah essentially is, let's see if I brought that down. I think I brought it down. 1 second. Okay, let me go over here. I didn't bring it down. So let me go over here 1 second to yeah. No, this is the tour. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah. 1 second. I'm sorry. Yeah. So as I'll show you in a second, is clarified. The idea of a zabla is that you want to get someone that's going to understand you. So yes, you might get someone that we're saying he's gonna. Meaning the whole time we're talking about, we're afraid he's gonna push your agenda. He's gonna push your opinion. It's not gonna be a proper case. But essentially, what are we aiming here? We're aiming here that the both sides will feel they are being represented in the discussion in a proper way with someone that really understands them. Mishpat. This is what is it? Halacha Zayin. So let's see if this is brought down over here. Mefarshim. No. I thought I had this over here. Here we go. Smeh. Oh, here, first of all, yeah. So in terms of Shoshvina, it says here, yeah. So he said, what's a Shoshvina? He's with him for 7 days of his chuppah. Anyways, but over here, look at this. So yeah, what's the so he said over here like this, yeah. Kikol echad right? You said that if it's just a regular relationship, but they're just fond of each other, it's okay. Each side is going to choose someone that understands his words. I felt that was a very clarifying concept there, meaning this really brings about what's the whole point of it here. Now, what's the idea of Zabla? Each side is getting someone that understands Yavin Dvarav Lashurai. Then after, meaning meaning that's the aim over here. You're having someone understand you clearly. Now we're afraid, right? After, and since he understands it well, he will. If there's any possible means that this dying will elucidate or bring up a schus for the person that chose him, he'll do it. The third one, the third one is machria, right? And this is interesting. We brought we were speaking about this when we brought the Tzemach Tzedek. The Tzemach Tzedek was saying that there's a fundamental difference between a pshara and a din. A din, the third dayan, is here to be machria, right? The third dayan is here. It comes to swing the pendulum, to choose where things are going. The Tzemach Tzedek was saying by pshara, the more dayanim you have, even when you have to be dayanim, what's his job is just to elucidate, is to bring a new opinion, but it's not to force one side, to force it one way or the other. Just an interesting way that the Tzemach Tzedek was looking at it or brought it down. But the concept over here is machriya b'niyam, that one side is going to the third judge, who, as we said, we're also. The word is we're confident that he's going to be objective, right? So the third judge is going to be the one that's going to bring it to the clear place. Okay, let's skip over now to the work at hand, to Halacha Yud Gimel. Let's go through it inside. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we started a new parak today. Very exciting. Zabla. Zabla is the big, it's the hot topics, right? Everyone talks about it. What's the Zabla? Zer bar le'echad, zer bar le'echad. So let's go. So as we were clarifying, I think it's based on the tour, if I remember correctly. I don't know if I have time to go through. Maybe we'll go through the tour soon. That why we're saying that this idea of Zer bar le'echad, that each one goes and chooses for themselves a dayan, and then these two dayanim go and choose a third one. This doesn't always happen immediately, because a lot of times, if you have a bezdin kavua, you have an established bezdin. Now this bezdin, presides over your town, and should any of and as we see also as the halacha goes on, whenever there seems to be a fault in the process of zabla, meaning whenever one side can come up with a dayan or both dayanim can come with the third one, the default is always going to go back to the bezdin kavua, because that's the established establishment. I guess that's the way to call it. That there is in that place, which is interesting. So, yeah. So echem baladim she'amar ish pleni yadan li, v'amar baldinai pleni yadan li. So let's say each side says, I want the dayan to be to judge for me. I want to choose this dayan. That guy said I want to choose that dayan. So these two dayanim, they go and choose a third one. This is a big thing, right? It's not necessary for the two plaintiffs to or the claimant and the defendant, whatever you want to call it. They don't have a say in the matter of who's going to be a third one. On the contrary, we don't want them to be that, because we want it to be as objective as possible. Because through this, this is as the writer in the Chayim was saying, this is I think it was called the safety net or whatever it was. This is the technique that the halacha is using in order, this third person, the machriya, he's the reason how we're going to be able to bring about the hadin lamitai. The things will come out true. Afilu haya echad should be a baldin chacham gadol v'samach and yachalacha bez baladinai shiyadin etzel zeh elagam hu b'red mishiyatza. Right? We end up by saying, that even if, let's say, one guy goes and chooses a very big chacham, the other side is not able to force. Meaning, let's say the plaintiff picks a big Talmud Chacham, and then the defendant wants to pick his own guy, and the plaintiff says, "What do you mean? I'm the big Chacham Gadol. Why are you going and picking some small guy? You have to come to me." So the answer is no. If you decided you wanted to do Zabla, if there's a concept you want to do Bayer, you can't force him to come to you. You can't force him to come to you. Yeah. Now it's interesting. I read an interesting Piskei Tshuva. He said that let's say if both sides choose two dayanim, and it happens to be that they're brothers, happens to be that father and son, the family of dayanim, so you end up getting messed up. So who's now forced to go and get a new dayan? So he brings down over here from the Bach. Actually, 1 second. No, I'm sorry. Rekiva Eger. So he says, Yad HaNitba al Halyena, meaning the plaintiff, the defendant can keep his dayan, and the teveya has to go and get a new dayan. Interesting. Because I guess Hamitzah Mekabel al Araya. If you want to go and force his case, this guy already has it, then you have to do that. Okay. We can go through the Ramah without totally focusing on the Ramah. Let me see if anything we should just pick on over here. Let's just do this little piece over here. So the Ramah says, the Ramah brings a little bit of reasoning. He says, Chaim, you following? You got it? Okay. We're doing the Ramah on Yud Gimel. We're up to Perak Yud Gimel Sif. I'm sorry, Siman Yud Gimel Sif Aleph. Okay. Because each one is choosing their what's it called again? Their dayan. Habaladim siatim lehem v'gam dayanim kol echad mahapich b'schus oisei shabar oisei. So the Baladinim, first of all, are going to be happy, as we'll explain soon. The Siman will tell us why they're going to be calm, because they're going to feel like they're presented properly. And also the Dayanim, each one is going to mahapik b'schus oisei shabar oisei. They're going to try to push the side of the person that chose them. B'chol ma she'efshar b'tzad hadin. And the middle one will hear it, and he will paskin truly. And then it says, so this is something else we said before. That basically, let's say if both sides are not able to pull a third one together, it's like what's happening in Israel now. You can't pull your coalition in the Knesset. So then it goes back to voting. So over here as well, if both sides, if both dayanim can't agree on a third dayan, so then it goes back to the establishment, which is the main dayanim. Yeah. This is an interesting thing. We'll skip to the end and then we'll continue, which actually comes to the Ramban, which is amazing. Meaning, let's say each side chooses two, and then both sides now want to choose the fifth one. So, meaning we don't care if there's an expanded court, if there's more dayanim. Why? Because the more dayanim there are, which is interesting. It's very interesting. I was giving this class before. They were saying, a lot of times by arbitration, it's better not to have so many people. But I guess over here we're talking about bringing out the din la'mitai. When it comes to bringing the din la'mitai, when you want to bring, we're talking about the cold law. The Shulchan Aruch clearly says that the more they the better. That's why in Eretz Yisrael, as you went up to, first it was 3, then went more and more and more up until Sanhedrin. Up until Sanhedrin. And then if you want to look at even more, you could say the Anshe Knesset Agdila had 120. So there's always a concept that the more dayanim, the more it will come up. So it was very interesting. I wanted to bring over here this piece to the tour. The tour brings down because of this. Because of a Rambam, let's go through it together. Fine. Rambam like this. Because of a Rambam, the tour brings us down. Actually, I think it starts over here. Actually, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's a separate thing. Okay. So Rambam writes like this. Let's say one guy chooses a chacham. Rambam says that if one side chooses a bichacham, the second side, so you can't choose, you can't force other guy to come to your chacham. He can choose whoever he wants. She said, I have a question. We know, I clearly wrote that a mumche, one person, can judge a person by force. So he says that Efshalemar, Shadas Amzal, in Eladavki Shabira Kvar Echad, the Oz in Yachalach Kaveda, in like King Leadin Shabbat, the Kamay Shabira Echad, King Shlikavil Echad. So, I mean, this is what we were saying before. How do we put this concept of choosing if we know that B'chlal, if there's a mumche, you can force you to come. If there's a bezdin kavua, you can force you to come. How does that all work out? And he says that even though you have these things, if both sides come together, they both choose for themselves that they want to have a zabla. So that's more powerful, is able to, and you don't get stuck going to one chacham. Even though one side chose a very big chacham, but when you choose this chacham under the category of a zabla, it's a different situation, and you have to give both sides the ability to choose their zabla. Okay, let's do. I want to do a smell over here. Yeah, so this smell is on. Is on the Ramah, right? The Ramah said that he said, what's the point of each side doing Zabla, each side choosing what they wanted, because Taintin Lahem. What time is it? 3:51. We have a little more time. Okay. So Pirish, what does that mean? What does it mean Taintin Lahem? He explains. Sha'ama kol echad mehem hareni bararti esa echad v'tuach ani bay. Meaning each side, the idea of Zabla, especially in the material that was given out, we first said, seemingly it seemed like it's not such a good idea. But what should a person's first reaction to be in terms of a bezdin? It should be, I want to go to a bezdin kavua. I don't want to go to a zabla. I want to pick. I'll pick this guy. He picks that guy. We should go to a regular bezdin. But it seems like that there is a logic. There is an advantage of a zabla, which is what? As the Shema is highlighting over here, and we brought that a few times, that each one's going to say, I'm sure that he's going to do as much as he can, and when the verdict comes out, he's like, I'm sure that if there was any logical reason or way that he could have pushed my agenda, he would have done so. And as if I was actually standing in din, and I guess as a din, or for this reason, high timer, from this reason, whatever that abbreviation is, memhei. He says, I'm not going to go now think about the psak dinam because I'm confident that it's going to be okay. Okay, here's the Kesef Mishnah. I thought I was reading before in the Torah, but then I realized it can't be the Torah because the Kesef Mishnah came after the Torah. The Kesef Mishnah is the Machaber. Okay, this is like interesting. We'll go through over here. Okay, sorry. So this mess is like this. That Echad Baladinim, one of the Baladinim, so he writes, Kesef Mishnah Kasav El Rama, right? The Kesef Mishnah writes like this. So Zelakak akasav baladinim sha'amar chulu kalemar im era hadavar sha'amar kain. So let's go back to where this is from. So we have to flow. 1 second. Let's go back to the halacha. I think it's on Smeh. 1 second. Let me just check it up. Yud Gimel Aleph. Yeah. Yeah, I got it. Okay. This is clearer over here. I don't know why. Okay, but let's go over here. So the Smeh is looking at the lashon of well, basically this mechaber over here, meaning our Shulchan Aruch, when it says echad mi bali dinim, one of the bali dinim she'amar ish pleni yadam, right? So what this lashon was taken from the Rambam. So the Smeh brings down the Kesef Mishnah, which is basically the mechaber, right? And he said the Kesef Mishnah writes that the fact that he brings that this lashon echad mi bali dinim she'amar, one of the bali dinim say. The kach kasa, and we bring down the Kesef Mishnah, right like this, yeah. The kach kasa, that's why he wrote. It's interesting. It's pieces over here that are taken out. That's why it's a little tougher to read. But over here they put it in. I have your the Mederes Freemans. They clarify things. Okay, so it's like this. The kach kasa of echem baladinim that this is why the Rambam says that one of the baladinim say kleimar. What did you say? Im ila hadavar sh'amar kain. Im ila hadavar. If it happens that they decide, right, that they want to choose their judges. Then we listen to both of them. And then both sides choose a third one. Because we know then the din will come out la mitai. This is from the Gemara. The Gemara says when each side chooses, then the din will come out la mitai. So the Kesef Mishnah said that what is the Rambam trying to say when he uses lashon that there's no chiyuv of doing zabla. You don't have to do a zabla. It's not a mitzvah. Like for example, we know like I would say different is we kind of push the concept of doing a pshara, right? We said a pshara is an amazing concept. You should do it. Both sides are happy. Everyone comes out feeling fair. We're not really pushing that so much over here. At least this is based on this is the Smeh goes. So now we can understand why the Mechaber, when he wrote, he already said, the Mechaber already said that 3 simple people or Yachid Mumcha can judge a person by force. He didn't say you should go to run to Hazabla. Okay. So the idea is like this. The idea is that basically what he's saying is that the reason why the Smeh is bringing down, that the reason why that the reason why the Mechaber uses the lashon echad mi bali dinim, one of the baladinim, is coming to tell us that if it happens, why? Because the Mechaber himself holds that this is not the only way of doing things. On the contrary, if the Toen wants to go to Mumcha, which doesn't really apply today because we kind of said, but let's say Indian, whatever, depends when. But if there's a professional, a big Rav, okay, by himself he can go and summon the nitba. He can summon the defendants, or you can go to 3 simple people. 3 simple people, you can bring the guy over. The fact that over here it's an echad baladinim is coming to tell us that this is it's another way and a possibility of people to do it. That both sides want to go to. Both sides will feel they're being represented properly. Let's do one more thing before we call it a day. I brought it down over here. Yeah. I'm gonna use this because it's just clearer. So, and this kind of flows into what we're saying over here, based on what the Machaber is saying now, that there's different ways of doing things, and theoretically speaking, if you had a big Rav, and one side goes to the Rav, you can summon the other side to come. So the question goes: so why is it that when it comes to Zabla, one side can choose a big Rav, and the other side he might choose a very small Rav, and we're still going to say that they're both on equal size because it's Zabla. But now the question is, how simple can the second side be? Could it be a random guy from the street? Does he have to be a Talmud Chacham? Does he in the middle, a hybrid? What's the So that's what the Shach comes over here. The Shach says, first of all, that the Smeh wants to say, as long as the guy's a Hagan, he's a good guy. He's an Erlich Yid. He davens. He davens a minyan every day. Okay. However, he brings down however from Rabbeinu Yerucham. I think when I learned Mikvais, Rabbeinu Yerucham is also a big player over there, but he comes over here also. I think Rabbeinu Yerucham says you can use Hamshacha. Anyway, so Rabbeinu Yerucham says, that the second Rav still has to be someone that's a Gomer. Gomer means he still knows how to learn, right? Or it has to be someone that many people hold of him. But you can't stop say if I'm doing a Zabla and want to be according to Din, right? And we said Din's a serious thing. So if it's going to be a Din and both sides are choosing someone, it has to be that the guy is someone that has a little stripes on his on his suit. You can learn a little bit something like that. Okay, I think we'll stop right here. Anyone any questions?